What's up, YouTube? Catchers here, and the international break is over. Now, club football is not back into play fully yet because we have the FA Cup this weekend, but I thought I'd do a little rehash of all of the matches that were played by our players away, the results, where they stand at, where they're going in European football and or international football. Some of these guys are going to be playing in the FIFA World Cup this summer, and some of these guys have been knocked out. Let's get into it. So this was the list of all the players that went out on international break. My initial list did not have Bendon, but that was my mistake because I didn't go into our loan out players to check to see if anybody had been called up to their national teams. I did now. It was only him. So we're going to go through him as well. I did add him on my X post, so if you're not following me on there, please do. I updated for all these guys playing in their matches and every time they played. Every time. Anyways, we're going to start from our top, and we're going to work our way down. We're going to go through everything, mostly because the youngins have the most to gain or lose from this international break, and I want to talk about that a lot more, because I know that once we get back into club football, we're not going to cover them as much. So, first up, we have Elliot Anderson called up for the England senior squad. He had 2 games he could possibly play, but the news coming out was that he was not going to play in that first match they played. Instead, he played only 1 game during this break, so he had a week off, played a game, and he'll have another week off before we get into Europa League football. The game he played was against Japan, where England lost 1-0. He absolutely bossed the midfield and once again showed everybody how world class he really is. I do think he's still a little overhyped, but I'm liking this kind of noise and this talk because it's just going to drive up his price. I've already seen other United fans kind of being like, "Oh man, we got to get this guy no matter what. We got to do what we can to get this guy right now." And I love to see that. He's going to go, guys. Unfortunately, I think that's going to be set and done. We have to take more into consideration than just the fee for him. His salary right now is pittances, to be honest with you, compared to what he could be making at United. That is the reality of our situation, of who we are at Nottingham Forest. You can't turn a blind eye to it. The salary difference is insane. And especially with the new SCR rules going into effect next season, where it's going to be squad cost ratio, where salaries are going to be even more scrutinized. I think, unfortunately, guys, he's going to have to go. Hopefully, my hope is he's going to be the only one to go. And if he is, I think as good as he is, we can kind of replace that output. Next up, we got Nico Williams. Man, Wales had a hard one. They went out on penalties pretty early in the window to Bosnia, who, actually, funny enough, ended up winning and knocking out Italy. Italy! What you doing, bro? You haven't been in the World Cup since 2014. What are you doing, bro? But I did misspeak when I said that he would not play another game for the international break. He ended up playing a friendly. They scheduled one against Northern Ireland, and he ended up playing the full match against them. Brother, he played 120 minutes against Bosnia. He played 90 minutes against Northern Ireland. This guy is a tank. He's a trooper. I really wanted him to get more of a break. Luckily, he's going to have a week off now before we hit Europa League. Hopefully, his body can recover. Man, at least he wasn't injured, I guess, but he played a lot of minutes, more than any other player on our team. Next up, we have the Serbinator, Nikola Milinkovic. He had an interesting window. He played all 90 for both of his matches. They ended up losing to Spain 3-0, and then had a comeback win against Saudi Arabia, which was crazy to watch in real time. I actually watched that match. He played decent to good in both of those games. I think Serbia is out of the World Cup, so we're not going to see him again until August when it comes to international football. But I mean, he had a good window. He didn't get injured, and that's all I asked from my players. He actually looked pretty decent, especially in the comeback. The Saudi Arabia game was insane, man. I love it. I love international football. A lot of these games were absolutely fantastic. I'm going to touch on a couple of them because I want to talk about my team, the USA, later on in the video. But He's coming back whole. Unfortunately, Serbia are not in the World Cup, so we got him for the rest of the season, boys. Next, we have the prodigal son, Dan Ndoye, causing controversy on his international break, on top of the controversy that I started when I said he should start over Callum Hudson-Odoi. Well, my brother man went and played for Switzerland. He started both matches, but only played half of the second one against Norway. Had a goal in the first match, and then decided to make some unnecessary comments. When asked about him starting at Nottingham Forest, he said, and I quote, "I asked myself that too," causing a storm on X where a lot of Forest fans came out and said, well, why don't you do something? Why don't you show it on the pitch? Yada, yada, yada. So, my boy, going out there and causing problems, I love it. Please start him. Allow him to show his stuff. I mean, he can only make or break his own words on the pitch, and I think he'll get an opportunity to do so against our Europa League competition, against FC Porto. We will see how he does in that game. Outside of that, he had a good, okay break. He kind of didn't do as good in the second match against Norway where they drew, but he did get a goal in the first one before being substituted, which ironically, Germany, another great game to watch, by the way. I watched this game as well. Came back and won in amazing. It was a great game, man. It was a great game. We had a lot. If you were watching international football this window, you had a treat with all the games and all the action. It was just insane things going on around the world, and I enjoyed it a lot. Next, we have Matt Sells for the Belgium team. As you can see here, they beat my USA 5-2, and it was a nice and justified curb stomping. We did not show up to play in that game. I'll get onto that later. They won that. He did not play, though. He was on the bench. He did play the full 90 against Mexico that they drew. He had a decent performance. They conceded a goal, but it wasn't like too bad. Like, he didn't make a dumb mistake to concede it. Overall, he's coming back healthy and whole. Played a full 90, so I think he's back to full fitness. And I'm ready for him to play. I do think Ortega plays against Porto, but I do expect him to play against Aston Villa. But we got a week off. He's not injured. That's all you can ask. Next, we have Angus Gunn and Scotland suffered the Japanese syndrome of losing 1-0 against them. It was the one and only match that he played in for the international break. I don't really think he was at fault for the goal, and honestly, he did a real good job of making some good saves against them. He played the full 90, and I mean, got the same result as England. I was hoping to see him play against the Ivory Coast and Ibrahim Sangare. I kind of tuned into that game, being like, oh man, I'm going to see two of my players play. Spoiler alert, neither of them played. Both of them sat bench, and it resulted in Scotland losing both of their international games. Unfortunate, but I mean, I'm not a Scotland national, so I'm not too bothered. He's coming back healthy, though. I still don't think he's going to play much for the rest of the season. He's kind of one of them guys where I think he got stuck in the unfortunate situation of Matt Sells being injured. We had to bring in Ortega as an emergency kind of signing, so he couldn't leave because Victor's been injured all season. He's unfortunate situation. I wish him the best. I think he goes at the end of the season, though. Speaking of the Ivory Coast and Ibrahim Sangare, my brother man played in only one game this window. Seems to be a case for a lot of our players except for Milinkovic and Nico Williams. Played against South Korea, which they dominated 4-0. He didn't really do much. He was kind of anonymous in that game, to be quite frank with you. And for the Scotland game, like I said before about Angus Gunn, he just didn't play. He held bench. So he's coming back whole, healthy, and getting much needed rest. I mean, he's not going to have played for 2 weeks. We're going to have some intense training sessions this weekend, boys, while everyone else is playing in the FA Cup. For some of these players, Williams and Milinkovic, I think, need a rest. But someone like Singar, who hasn't played in 2 weeks, I need him to get some action. Need some good, hard training. Next up is Tyler Bendon, who is on loan at Sheffield United, hence why he says United there. but his rights are still owned by Forest. He played for New Zealand in both of the games and started. One of them at center back, and then the other one he started at kind of like a weird right back thing. It was really weird to see, but they played against Finland and Chile. Won one of them, lost the other. He's had a decent performance. He wasn't at fault for me at any point for the goals they conceded. I think he had a decent performance overall. Probably their second best center back for New Zealand. Luckily, contrary to a lot of people's fears, we did not see Chris Wood play for New Zealand. He is still undergoing recovery, and it is a toss up in the air whether he plays the Europa League match or not. But a lot of people are saying, people being the club, that they want him back for that match. I don't know if Chris Wood will be there, but Tyler Bendon had a great international break and goes back to Sheffield United for the remainder of the season and hopefully gets utilized as a starter, which he has on and off been for them this season. Zach Abbott, the center back prodigy, played for the England under 20s. They had that one game at the start of the window, the international window, which I already talked about, where they drew with Italy in a crazy match. I think he didn't play. They didn't schedule another game. They do have a game scheduled for later in the year, but he hasn't been able to do much. I do think he deserves more of a look in. I do not understand why he's listed at 5'11". I feel like he's taller on the pitch, but that could just be me. I want to see him play more. I think he's earned time for Nottingham Forest, and he's starting to look like a very good player. I don't want to see him at right back. I kind of after the Europa League game, I kind of want to see him at that right center back position against Porto again. I think he excelled at that. He was really good on the ball, and he hasn't come back from international break injured. He had a decent performance, though they conceded 3 goals. It wasn't really his fault per se. So I mean, it is what it is. Next up, Matthew Orr for the Northern Ireland's under 21s. They played 2 of their Euro qualification matches this window. They ended up getting trounced by Germany 3-0. Not so good, but had a comeback win down 1-0 to Latvia to take that match 3-1. Unfortunately, looking at the Euro qualification table, I do not think they will qualify. They are sitting at right here 10 points, and then opponents above them are at 18. So unfortunately, I don't think the Northern Ireland 21s are going to have Euro qualification. But it was good to see him competitively, especially since he hasn't played senior ball since he got signed from Linfield. And he looked decent. I got no problems. Could be a future star. I'm not too sold on it yet, but he is an academy player. He's still growing. There's a lot for him to work on. Here we have Callum Thompson, one of 2 players who played for the Northern Ireland under-19s. They played 2 games for both of the days that they played on the 28th and the 31st. He played against Azerbaijan, which they won, and he played against Lithuania, which they drew. This was for the European Championship qualifiers. They're at 4 points right now, tied for the top of the group. I don't know if that means they qualify or not. I'm not clear on understanding the rules of the competition, so please excuse my lack of knowledge. But I didn't watch these matches. It didn't look like he did too bad. I mean, he went sent off with a red card, but then again, he didn't score. He is a forward player. I mean, I just come here to report the results, man. I can't watch every match, unfortunately, but I hope somebody went and supported our academy players as they played abroad. The other under 19 Northern Ireland player was Blaine McClure, midfielder. He played against Romania. So you had the Azerbaijan game and the Romania game on the same day. I've told you before, they alternate. So he played against Romania later in the game day and drew with them. And then they played Kazakhstan, which they beat. Like I said, I'm not too sure about this European Championship qualification thing. I am looking at their points. I mean, it's pretty decent. They are in the spots to be. I assume qualified as of right now. Do they play these fixtures again, or is it only 3 games they play in the group stage against the other opponents? I don't know, man. I'm sorry. But like I said, I'm here just to report the results, take a look. I didn't watch these games either. And I mean, it didn't look like it did too bad. Obviously, the score's not here because SofaScore doesn't track these kind of matches against younger players. But I mean, he didn't have a yellow card, didn't have a red card, didn't score. He was a midfielder. They won and drew both games. I assume he did all right. Moving over to my national team, United States of America, USA. It was not a good window, guys. It was not a good window for us. We did heavily rotate for both matches. I do not think we have settled on our starting lineup, and we did kind of play their starting lineups. Their starting 11 seems to be figured out at this point. They played both matches with it. We definitely chopped and changed a lot. It was a complete rotation of starting 11 for both matches, except for Christian Pulisic and Timothy Weah, which I'm going to be completely frank with you. Pulisic, man, not good. He was terrible. Weah, not much better. Thank God Nottingham Forest did not sign him in the summer, even though we were linked. Eesh. Not good, man. Not good. We lost both matches. We were defensively good, even though the score says we weren't. We did concede 7 goals, but most of that was from like basic mistakes, like not closing down a player when you're supposed to, leaving a player wide open at the top of the box. It's a really dumb, basic shit that just pisses me off, and I really don't want to get into. But we lost. We got to take the L. We got to hold the L. Lost against both teams. I have hope that we'll get better. We have some players still out injured that are returning, one being Tyler Adams, the other being Luna, who, I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all don't know who that is, but he is a good player for us, and I think the squad and the tactics will be different for the actual World Cup. But man, Pochettino, gotta do better, bro. Gotta do better. Hopefully, he'll have time to work with the players. And he's not looking good for all those Chelsea people who wanted him back at the club. Not looking so hot. Speaking of the World Cup, we had absolutely amazing matches played for World Cup qualification. USA is already qualified, so we didn't play any qualifiers. Both of our matches were just friendlies. But if you had tuned in for these qualification playoff matches, man, you were in for a treat. Every game was amazing, was fun to watch. The Bosnia game against Italy, wow. I mean, going down to 10 men early, Italy held on, and then they conceded and they went to penalties. Oh man, dude, it was so great. And it's why you watch football, man, for moments of crazy moments like these where no one saw them coming. I had Italy to win this game. Oh man, it was great. Another great game was the Czechia against Denmark game. I didn't actually get to watch this one, unlike the Bosnia game, but I was keeping an eye on it in the SofaScore app. And when they went to penalties, I was like, man, crazy games. And Czechia actually came out on top. So Czechia qualified for the World Cup. Denmark, unfortunately, is out, which is insane when you think about, the last World Cup, the teams that played in it. Not Italy, but the rest of them is just crazy to watch. I also paid specific attention to the Kosovo against Turkey game, specifically because the winner of this game played in my group stage for the United States. Turkey did end up winning the match. They scored relatively early coming out of halftime and then kind of just held on. Kosovo, I mean, they tried, bro. They tried their damnedest. And then we had the Sweden and Poland game. I didn't watch that one because I was watching the Turkey game, but also from what I saw, keeping it out of the corner of my eye, man, it was insane. Great game. Watching the highlights, I highly recommend you guys go back and watch the highlights on YouTube for these matches. Insane, awesome. Watching the guys celebrate when they win. Oh man, people in tears who win, people in tears who lost. It's just, it's the type of stuff you watch football for. It's just so good, so amazing to see. Anyways, the FIFA World Cup is set. I did go through this during my watch along of the Portugal game, USA versus Portugal, at the start of the stream. But I guess we can talk about it now. I know a lot of people who support Nottingham Forest are from England. So I'm just going to scroll through the World Cup groups, like who the groups are. England are right here with Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. You guys should really be winning that. Really should be. But looking at the United States group, which is, I think I passed it right there, we have Turkey, Paraguay, and Australia. Very, very winnable for us. I'm going to talk about the USA because I'm from the USA. I think it's going to be between us and Turkey. Maybe Australia gets a draw here or there. But it's going to be a good group. And I was looking at a lot of these groups, and some of them, like this one right here with Japan, is going to be very competitive. And I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. Other ones I'm not too sure about, like New Zealand's got a lot of talent coming up. Can they dethrone Egypt? I don't know. Egypt will have Mohamed Salah. So it's just going to be a really great World Cup. And obviously, the first fixtures are going to be starting in June. I'm going to be watching as many as I can. This is the World Cup after all. I just got to pick and choose which ones I want. Like for this one, do I watch Mexico, South Africa, South Korea, Czechia? Do I watch both? Or do I watch only one? I don't know. I'll tell you how it goes, and obviously I'll let you know. So that wraps up the international window. Like I said at the start of this video, we will have FA Cup matches this weekend. Unfortunately, we are not in the FA Cup, so we do not play until next Thursday when we play in the Europa League against FC Porto away. Then, obviously, the weekend following that, we have Aston Villa away as well. Two really tough games, although I think we do better away than we do at home. So could be interesting to see the results. Chris Wood is set to return. There's a game time decision for whether he plays. From what I hear from the club, we are targeting for him to return in the Porto game and not the Villa game, which I don't, I mean, it doesn't really make sense. My expectation, well, stay tuned for the preview video to find out. And that's all I gotta say, guys. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, comment down below. If you haven't been following me on X, please do. I dropped every time one of our players started a match on X. So if you were able to keep track on there, I was pinging you with when and where they were starting. And I didn't get to watch all of our players play, but from the overall perspective, I think our players had a decent window. And especially for the academy players, it's looking up for us. Why do we have so many Northern Ireland academy players, bro? But it is time for club football once more. So, come on, you ready?